Hi, viewer. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome back to the Girlfriends podcast. We trust that you had a great time watching the previous episodes. And if you've seen previous episodes of the Girlfriends, podcast, please, it's important for you to leave a feedback, a message. Let's know if you actually enjoyed all of those episodes and if you have recommendations to what to suggest in the comment section down below. So today we are back with something very interesting to talk about. Yes, weddings, love, exchanging vows. When it comes to wedding, the most beautiful part of wedding for so many people is you walking down the aisle, wearing a very beautiful luxury wedding gown and your husband looking all dapper in his, tux and all of that. But afterwards, reality sets in. After telling your significant other that it's going to be for better, for worse, till death actually do the both of you part. And you're going to be submissive. You're going to give him your all. You're going to stand by her through thick and thin. And then when the marriage itself starts in earnest, you now realize that all of those vows are nothing to go by. It's either one of you is drifting or you just feel like it's just too demanding. The expectations are becoming too overwhelming. So it's actually brought about a conversation where, some are saying that these vows are unrealistic. Some are saying just bless the marriage and let the couple just go about their lives, as opposed to saying, I do solemnly, you're declaring solemnly that you're going to be submissive to one man for the rest of your life, and then in the space of 2 years, you're saying that it's over between the both of you. Don't forget you actually exchanged those vows before God and man. So we want to know what the problem or what the issues are, why people are finding it difficult to stick to those vows. And if you think that they are unrealistic or maybe they should be scrapped, please do well to share your thought with us. But let's start the conversation already. I am Omo Efe. Please, you can call me Efe. Always.
And my name is Udwat Daniel. All right. Oh, my, so you made quite an introduction right there, and this conversation actually, uh, got me thinking.
Uh,
Just for a split second. Now let me dive into it totally. Yeah. Um, First of all, I would say we're not scrapping no vows. Yeah. There's a
okay.
reason for why the vows are there. The reason is so that there could be a structure to a system. Because the truth is, a relationship is a system, is a structure. It should have hierarchy,
Mm,
and ways of, you know, the way they should act, people should act,
right.
right? So the only issue that I see with these vows, whether or not it should be scrapped, are the people.
Okay.
And there's the people, there's the person, right? Um, in as much as the vows may be there for a structure to give a systemic feel to that relationship or marriage, as it were, the person's background, upbringing, personality, the things that the person has learned or picked one way or the other from the society. Because the truth is, we keep hearing, train up a child in the way he should go when he grows and not depart from it. The truth is, it's not always true. Because there are some things that you pick from the society, it was not
Mm,
part of your
right,
training.
right.
Yeah. And then you become that thing, right?
Mm,
The only thing that might connect you back to your training is just one small voice that tells you, in the name of conscience, that remember how it used to be
mm-hmm.
like this. In
Yeah,
fact, even conscience can be silenced,
right.
right? That's why they say some of these armed robbers, maybe terrorists and all, they silence their conscience, because when he tries to speak, they use drugs and hard drugs, and they silence it, and then but so it doesn't seem as though we're swayed. Yeah, is the people, is the person. I said, first of all, I said family. Number one, that's very primal. Yeah. Secondly, oh, first of all, it should be individual, because whether you're from belong to a family or not,
Let's
you are
start
the
with
one
you
who's you
first.
start with
Yeah.
you, then family, and then the society. These three things,
Okay.
they should be held responsible. But whether or not these vows are realistic and all of that, I don't share in it. I think it's not the vow. Because if you say I'm submitting to you and all of that, it's appointed that a man will leave his home and pick a wife, and you would become one,
Okay.
right?
So
So
Yudi,
come on.
if you let me, let's
Yeah.
say that you get married and then your wife tells you that, oh, she's going to commit her all, like submit herself
Mm.
entirely to
Mm-hmm,
you
mm-hmm.
as your wife, and
Yeah.
then in the process she starts, giving birth, and then the expectations become a bit overwhelming for her. Are you still going to consider the fact that, oh, she was first human before she became your wife?
Well, yeah, of course, because as I said, it's about person. I might consider and understand that. Yeah, as I've just said right now. But there's somebody else who would like to take it hook, line, and sinker. If you say that you are going to submit and all that, and a
Mm,
child comes,
mm,
keep submitting because
yeah,
I'm not failed in my duty.
yeah.
You understand it? There's
Mm,
some people who are like that. Like, okay, I said I was going to be the provider and all that. Whether I felt like or I don't feel like,
mm,
whether it's working or it's not working. The point is, the moment you speak to me and you say we need this in the home, I provide. I don't give you excuses whether I'm in the mood or I'm not in the mood, or whether I have
okay,
more responsibilities, my cousins are calling. I don't do it. So
okay,
please, I also behold on you to do the same.
okay.
Don't give me excuses.
Kathy.
Hmm. Well, I think that as much as it depends on individuality, the vows have a way of boxing people up,
Okay.
and it also takes away the flexibility of marriage. But I think it still boils down to the people involved.
Involved.
However, now I know when it comes to marriage, we are told that oh, it's the union of two people. A man will leave his family, meet the wife, and they're there, no third party. But especially in this kind,
Mm.
marriage is a community. If you look at it,
A
marriage,
community?
yes, marriage is a community. Because when you get married, you're not the only person in that marriage. Yes, ideally, you are the only person in the marriage, you and your spouse. But every other person has expectations. And these expectations are tied into sometimes into the vows
Mm.
that you have to stay loyal to your wife, you have to stay loyal to your husband, no matter what comes or no matter what goes,
Right.
you have to be together. And that is why we have seen cases where even when people, not even the man, not even the woman, because both gender, they go through the same abuse.
Right.
I'll give an instance, domestic violence. They could be going through that and cannot even say anything because what is society going to say, first of all? Because we took the vows there, and these vows were like, you have to stay for better, for worse.
Mm.
And the moment you want to leave, you are considering first of all what your parents are going to say, what people are going to say. I think it's just these days that some parents are being very lenient as to the fact that it's okay for you to leave your home. It's okay for you to be divorced. It's not a crime or separated for a while.
Mm.
Because when you see certain things, people even go back to the Bible
Mm.
where they even hold on to, and even the Bible frowns
A
against divorce.
divorce, yeah.
Yes. So you see some people hold on to marriage when ordinarily they shouldn't hold on to it. So I would say that those vows sound really sweet. They sound nice and everything, but realistically speaking, hmm,
Okay.
it's not always the case. And I feel like they have a way of boxing people. Yes,
So,
they
do you
have a
not
way of
think
boxing.
that it's about time for us to maybe engage our religious leaders, especially the clergymen, that
Absolutely.
maybe they need to understand to us very clearly
Just I
what
think like you
for
said,
better, for worse actually means? Because you can't be in an abusive marriage and because you told your partner that
exactly,
it's going to be for better, for
better for
worse,
worse.
and then you die there. At the end of the day, society is going to fault you, they're going to blame you, and even your family,
So first
they'll
of
be
all,
left to
ask that why
regret.
did you leave? Why did you?
Exactly.
But when these people want to leave, for instance, now the first thing if a man wants to leave an abusive home, the first thing is like, oh, you're a weakling. How are you even allowing the woman to hit you or abuse you emotionally or psychologically? You are weak. So the first thing he's thinking is, if I leave this marriage, people would say I'm weak. I
Mm.
walked away when I should have been firm to show her that I'm the man of the house. And for the woman, she's thinking, if I leave my marriage, it's like I couldn't make it work. I'm a failure. So these things stem from these vows, and
Mm.
sometimes from the things that our parents say or the society say to us. And like you said, the religious bodies have a lot of roles to play because when we box these vows into for better for worse, what is for better for worse? The for better for worse could be relative.
Mm.
And when people
Right.
cannot take what is worse for them, they should be given the chance or the grace to leave.
Okay.
And like you said earlier, just bless the marriage. we shouldn't make marriage. I think the vows even come with some expectations that it's going to be a paradise. Marriage is not entirely a paradise. For some people, or for most people, marriage is a learning ground because you think you know this person until you get married to them and you're seeing things that you've never even expected. So you going into marriage with this vow gives you a mindset to expect things that are not feasible. When that partner is not forthcoming with the things you're expecting,
Mm.
it becomes a problem. So I think religious organizations should teach couples to understand that marriage is an open thing. Whatever you see there, the only thing is for the grace to be able to handle it. And it
Right.
brings me back to where he said it's about individuality.
Mm.
For you having the strength or the how do I now put this word now to
The
be able to,
maturity, the
yes, to
cognitive,
hold
yeah.
certain things that
Yeah.
come with it. Instead of saying that this is how it's supposed to be, people should stop going to the mind into marriage with the mindset that this has to be linear. Sometimes it could be A, sometimes it could move to J before it comes back to B or even C.
Okay,
So
let me
it's
quickly
not a
squeeze in this
linear
Yeah.
question.
perspective.
The white wedding, some Nigerians or Africans generally would say that, oh, it's not our culture, it's not our thing. What is most recognized in this part of the world is the traditional marriage, right? So, would you suggest just maybe that we start having very bold conversations around not necessarily scrapping white wedding, but
Okay.
it shouldn't be like,
Upholding
yes, it shouldn't be
traditional.
like a do or die
Okay.
affair that, oh, if you get married traditionally and
Mm,
you're not wedded in a
mm,
church, it
mm,
makes your wedding or your marriage any less
mm.
of, you know.
Well, I would have some perspective to it. Number one would be it becomes even much more bogus. I'll tell you
How do
why.
you mean?
There is intramarriage. There is intermarriage. Intramarriage is marrying within your community, your system.
Community.
Intermarriage means you're marrying outside your tribe. And you should understand that each of these tribes, they carry their own customs. Now, it may
Right.
not be sung to you on the very first day or y'all are coming together. It won't be sung to you. In fact, because y'all be busy about the price list, and
Hmm.
all. That's what y'all be busy about.
Right.
But when push comes to shove, right? That each tribe, that's if you had an intermarriage, but if
Mm.
you have an intramarriage and all of that, these customs, of course, will always come to bear. So, however you like it, every every um, institution, because marriage is an institution,
Mm.
carries its own has a system that should run it. And that's where the for better for worse thingy
Who
comes.
even
Now
came up
I
with
agree
these
with you. Wait,
vows?
wait. Well, I agree with you.
What's the
Whoever came
origin?
up, that's another question. I think it's one. Maybe we may have a part two to this
I think
conversation, so
these
we
days
do
people
we do
are
have it.
beginning to write their own
People
vows.
write your vows now.
So
Yeah.
they are not being imposed by the
Mm,
clergy or the
mm,
Yeah,
evening priest
yeah.
anymore.
mm.
Some people write down their vows and
But
Exactly.
based on
that
what they are
that
convinced,
will work with
the
Orthodox
conviction.
Yeah,
settings.
no, it won't work. I
You
don't
just
think
have to
so. I
stick
don't
to
think so.
status
You stick
quo.
to status quo. We're going to say that we worked in the days of your mother and father. It
Yeah,
will work in your day.
and so
What is
shall it
wrong
be
But
with you?
forever.
even the traditional marriages, for some cultures, they have certain things that still reinforce that boxed mentality. They do have
Okay.
because you
So
hear people tell you things that no matter what your husband does, don't go
Don't
out
leave.
and tell somebody, don't leave. They still have they still and this one do not even come under any other they come very boldly. So it's not even about the type of marriage. Even though I think that the white wedding make it more clear.
Complete. Yeah, okay.
Yes, but even the traditional marriages come with those vows. They
I think
do come with those
one of the
vows.
things that we should add to it, I don't see an issue with the vows. I think the one of the things that should be added is with wisdom to act in the way and manner, that will ensure maybe your safety or your whatever. I don't
No, by
know.
the end of it, it says,
Because
"So help me God."
so help me God. God is not your wisdom. No, He's not your wisdom.
But
Honestly, I don't think I will finish
We
this
won't
conversation.
finish the conversation,
well, all right,
right?
okay.
But
Maybe we should have a part two,
we should have
right?
a part
Because
two
we
to
really need
this
to
discourse,
understand the
actually.
origin of these white wedding vows
Mm,
and how it has actually worked for people over the years.
yeah,
We've seen people come out to celebrate 50 years,
oh,
of
exactly.
marriage and
Yeah.
all of that, and these
Did
are
they
same
follow the
people.
vows?
Yeah, like,
How did they do it?
Oh, they did.
What do you think about
I
these
think they
vows?
did.
okay. So, if you're planning on getting married, let us know in the comments. Would you want to write your own vows, or you're just going to stick to the orthodox, vows of for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, and
In death, do
etc.
us
Do a
part.
Yeah.
spot.
No, but
So
that's a
help
bit
me
till
God.
death do you part, because
Well, that's true.
of
But
course.
how many of y'all,
Till
actually,
death do us
how many
part
of
is
y'all,
still boxing.
oh, is
Is
it
it
That is
boxing?
boxing? Come
It's
on,
not
you see
forever.
that?
That's what
Okay.
it means.
no,
Till
that
Jesus
of
comes.
course, because it's going to because you have to stay with a cheating man because till death do you part, till forever. You have to stay with someone who is violent because till death do you part. Well, share your thoughts in the comments.
Please
Let's
do
move
share
on.
your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching.